Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I thought I'd do a quick update on my garden. You can see my bench there has got a bunch of stuff piled on it. It's either about to be emptied out and stored, and some of it will probably be hauled off. But anyway, I thought I would show you. This pot had 2 plants in it. A lot of difficulty getting the sun over in here. So I don't even know if the second one is going to survive. But as I said, the pot is too heavy. I haven't been able to move it. But the one plant got destroyed by a storm that we had. It broke quite a bit of it down, and then it never recovered from that. But the second one is nice and green. There just hasn't been any flowers on it. Now, the little card, I was actually given this plant for free. For something that I did at the store. But anyway, it says it's the Whopper tomato, and that it's a late bloom, but it should be doing something by now. I'm just saying, it's been the 60 to 70 days. So we'll see what happens. But you can see I planted this one more on the side, but it's got a good root system down there. So we shall see what happens with it and if we get anything. I did end up harvesting all of my radishes. I did get a couple of radishes out of there, but I made a big mistake and didn't thin them like I should. But man, I got some delicious greens out of that, and I enjoyed them. This plant has still never produced a zucchini, and it's really slowing down on the flowers it's producing. Although if you look in there closely, you can see there are some. There have been very, very few female flowers. And when they do come, what happens is they get to a certain point, even though I've been trying to hand pollinate them, and then they don't grow any further. There's one down there, you can see it, that I'm going to see if it grows. It kind of almost looks like it wants to shrivel up a bit, but we'll see. And there's a couple more right here, but some of the plant has started to die off. But I've also been kind of trying to prune some of the leaves so that more growth goes into the development of some of the flowers and actual zucchini. So this is an experiment and a learning for me, but I think a lot of the problem here has been the same as with the tomato plant, is the amount of shade. And this is just a zucchini. I think they're called Black Beauty, something similar. Now this is several different tomato plants. I don't know exactly what's growing here, because what happened was I just ended up with a lot of tomato plants. And then I did have them all labeled at one point, and the storm that I spoke about earlier just blew away all my labels. I had nothing. So I don't know exactly, but what I have in these other pots, and you're going to see there's some more at the other end of the row, are all either early girls or some Livingston grape tomatoes. So you can see there's this one. This one looks pretty healthy. I have cut it. I don't want it to get too much taller than this. I want it to start developing, and it's the only one that has a tomato on it. And the size of that, I mean, it may get bigger, but it makes me wonder if that's a Livingston cherry. So I don't know, but there's the first one to make a tomato, and that's right there. So we shall see, but I'm proud of this one. It's doing its job, starting to. And my garden is really late. A lot of these I planted by seed, and I planted them late. So they may be labeled early girls and all of that, but they're not. Now these are starting to flower, so we're gonna see. I don't know if you can see the flowers in there through the video or not. And these are getting a nice amount of sunshine. I think that's all going well in this area here. So we'll see what we end up getting. Hopefully we'll get some tomatoes, enough I can share with other people. I've given up on the hand pollinating of things. That wasn't working. Now this one here is one that just about died off. It was a transplant. And I thought, man, I'm going to have to pull that tomorrow. And I came back out the next morning, and it looked much better. But it was another one that the storm just didn't do well in the storm. But there's not been a single flower on this one yet. And you can see it hasn't grown very tall. But it's gotten a little bit bushier. So we'll see what happens with it. Now this is one of those... can't remember the type, what the watermelon species is called, but they're a little like grapefruit sized watermelon. And I don't really like those. They're kind of expensive in the stores and things like that. But I only had this pot, and I thought, well, can't really grow things in the ground here. I'm going to go ahead and try it and see. And I am getting some beautiful flowers, so even if it doesn't do anything more than that. And there are some little tiny melons on it in a couple of places. So we will see if they actually are getting pollinated well enough to grow into full-grown melons or not. Because some of the stuff you're going to see down here a little bit further, I got a cucumber the other day, which I've already picked and sliced and eaten. But now I hear these are green beans, and I am getting a few green beans. I didn't plant enough green beans to get many green beans, so I'm not really expecting that. And what I'm hoping to get out of this is a few jar of pickled green beans, because I like them. And they're kind of expensive in the store and not really all that well flavored. So that's what I'm hoping to get, and I'll just refrigerator pickle them. I don't have the means right now to can, and I'm not going to purchase them this year because I won't be around to do a garden next year. And see, this is another one of the, I don't know what type of tomato plant it is, but it has gotten a few little flowers on it. Although I'm going to say a couple of these flowers need to be deadheaded. They're dead. So we'll see what happens with those other two lone flowers there. But I am hoping, see, same thing here. But there's a lot of flowers in this area, despite these having died. I wonder sometimes if they're just getting dried out. It's pretty hot here in the daytime. So, and now I had gotten some, this is a Big Jim pepper plant. And you can see, I kept getting peppers on here. I got some peppers on here, the first round of them, and they didn't really grow very long or anything, and the insects were eating them. And then some ladybugs started showing up, but which I seem to have less of the other insects in, but the peppers just weren't growing. So I went and picked them, and then a whole new round of peppers are coming. And look at, I think it needed to have that done, because look how long these are doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah, now over here, this pepper plant is kind of overgrown my two bell pepper plants. But there are some flowers starting to show up on here. And as I said, this whole garden was pretty much done a month later than it should have been. And it was grown by seed. So, but I am getting some, it looks like some flowers. Maybe I'll get a few bell peppers. This is, I call them Japanese eggplant. They are the long purple, thin purple ones. I don't know if that's really what they are, but that's what I've always called them. And that's what this plant is. No flowers yet, but I think it's starting to get to the size where I'm going to hopefully start to see some flowering on there. Now over here, I've got some more different types of peppers. I think there's a couple of jalapeno, some serrano, and then over here, this plant right here is a Hungarian yellow pepper. And so I want to see, because I picked a couple of these. They were good and everything, but when I got them inside in different light, they were more green than they were yellow. And so I'm going to let these go. I read that the flavor kind of actually deepens in them if you'll get them somewhere between green and orange, right in that phase. So we're going to see what happens, and I'm going to leave them. And there's this, but I am getting these like little striped bugs starting to show up on there. So when I see them, I just kind of flip them off. And that's because really I used some spray that was, a more natural spray, and it really didn't do anything to these bugs. So I don't know. I think I did better with my dish soap mix that I used last year. But, well, no, I didn't. Matter of fact, the grasshoppers just basically ate up my garden last year. Now, there are a lot of grasshoppers out here. They are munching on the garden somewhat, but it's not out of control. And we'll see. Now, this is a yellow squash. There's two varieties of yellow squash out here. One is just a straight yellow squash, and the other one's a crookneck squash. And I don't know which one of these is which. But See, look over here and down in there, look. Now we're gonna see if any of those got pollinated and get any bigger than that. But I'm excited, I'm hoping we'll get some, and there's more of those. See, there's more coming up here. So we're either gonna have a bunch of them just die off, or we're gonna have some more. Now this is a baseball-sized eggplant, and you can see it isn't growing as well. It was planted about a week later than the other one, but it's really getting eat a lot. And I've kind of decided that even if it continues to get eaten a lot, I'm gonna leave it here. I don't mind sacrificing it if the bugs will eat over here and leave everything else alone. I'm okay with that, because I'm not expecting to get much off of it anyway. Now this is the other type of yellow squash, and so far there's not been, but see, there's a very many and I've only seen a couple of females on here. I think that one I did try to pollinate, but I've kind of given up on the hand pollination. Most of what I have tried to do, it absolutely did nothing, and I can't figure out what I would have done wrong to it. So get some of these that need to be dead-headed off. Yeah. There's some more later on. When I come out, I'll get those. And then over here, I have cucumbers. And I have gotten one cucumber so far. And it was down in this area. And I was surprised to find it. Because I had been trying to figure out, because see, you can see this is a female, and the flower on it is dead. But I'm going to leave it and see if it got pollinated maybe before the flower died. I don't know. It's gonna. So far, what I've seen when that flower dies off like that is they don't get any bigger. But we'll see, because I was totally shocked to find that one in there. Now, what I have growing here, I planted 3 types of peppers, and I was going to transplant some of them once they got bigger. Well, what happened is that storm killed off a lot of my plants. So I'm down to like these 2, and I think one of them is a Persian and one of them is a pickling cucumber, or they could be one of them a lemon cucumber. I don't know. We're going to see what we get, and if we get anything, because like I say, I am just not seeing pollinators, and we'll just see what happens as it goes. And then these are just 2 flower buckets, and I'm not certain what's growing here. I think that I shouldn't have planted these sunflowers. I thought that they were much more like a daisy and that they were much smaller, but they are staying in the back, but I'll bet you they're getting so big, I bet you they're using a lot of nutrients up. But so far, that's the main thing that has come up, are the sunflowers. And then I think right here, some sweet pea. So I need to get something for the sweet pea to climb in there. So I think there's some sweet pea coming up. And over there is something coming up right underneath that one sunflower plant. So we'll see. There was some other stuff coming up in here, and once again, the night of that really bad storm, I think it kind of did them in. And then my gladiolas bloomed. This is my first time ever doing gladiolas, so I don't know if they will, see, there's some butterflies. Maybe they will help with this pollination issue. If more flowers will come up or not, I need to do some reading of it, but there were some beautiful pink flowers on here, on these bulbs. And since I won't be here next year, I may take up the bulbs and offer them to my sister-in-law. She likes flowers. I don't know, you can't really, I don't think you can see on the phone here. See if I can zoom in. No, you can't once you're in filming mode on this phone. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, there you can see. She has a lot of, those are flowers. And then she has mostly flowers in her garden this year. She just wasn't going to have time for a vegetable garden. So anyway. So so that's how my garden is doing. I'm out here this morning. I won't be able to do it very long because my back will start killing me, but I'm going to use my weed eater and try to use it like a lawnmower on some of this grass. So weeds, there are actually hardly any grass back here. It's just about all weeds. So I'm gonna see if I can kind of trim them down. Winter, no. Winter is a barn cat here on the property, and she wants to tear up the tree. Now she always stops when I tell her, but yeah. But anyway, her and the other barn cat like to come out here and just look. Yeah. But anyway, so that's it for the garden and update. And you can see huge, beautiful leaves on everything. Just not producing much. So we'll see what happens though, because it was a late planted garden, and hopefully we'll get some more stuff. Love y'all. Bye-bye.